Hello guys, this is Rabbit and More. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Modin, a rabbit farmer, and today I bring you a series, not really a series. If you've been following us on Clubhouse, we had a conversation with one of the farmers who walked us through selecting the right breeds for rabbit breeding or for production. And in there, we spoke about a lot of different things. I brought you a video last time with him, Some Head Farms, and he was talking about how to choose the rabbits and or knowing the types of rabbit to choose, etc. In this very video, we are focusing on how to mate the rabbits, how to cross them. So you have a rabbit, they are on heat. How do you go about it? Practical steps on how it is done. He'll give you some tips as it's being done, and then right after that, I'll take over and then share my thoughts with you. Do enjoy the video.
Okay, so this is a polished black that we are going to cross. Okay, so this is my male section. So I'm going to use the silver martin. Yes, it's one energetic male. So most of the times you introduce the female to the male. The male will be in his cage waiting for the female. So let me take the car off. Let me put the female in it and let's see the action. Okay, so very aggressive. See that the female is already on heat, so it will lift up. Let me push it forward. Okay, wait. Okay, you see it's lifting. So let me help. Okay, let's see what will happen. Hey, turn around. Okay, so let's see. Okay, you see, so that is it. You see, this is the little sound the male is enjoying it. It shows that the male is enjoying. So this is the first crossing. You pick the female out. Let's say 1 minute, 2 minutes, then you introduce the female again. So this is simply how we breed. Most of the times, some of the farmers leave the female there and just go 3 days, 4 days, 1 week. It is not a good practice. Stand and watch the action take place. It will give you an assurance that it was successful. Sometimes you leave the female and the female wouldn't be ready. They will fight to the point that I've witnessed a point where the female took out the testicles of the male, which was very bloody. So please, you introduce it, you allow it to cross, then you pick it out. So 2 minutes time, we'll do the second crossing. This is the second time you are going to introduce this polished black to the silver martin back. So let's watch the second time. Okay. Okay, so let's watch what will happen. Then because of the sound, you see, you are going to eat. Then because of the sound, the male is kind of a little scared, but okay, let me help the male. Okay, so let's see what will happen. This is the second. Wow, this is the second one. Excellent. So with this one, you are certain. With this one, you are certain the crossing was successful. So sometimes when you cross for the first time and you put the female back to the cage, it urinates the sperms out. So let's observe it. Sometimes you see immediately the female urinates and the sperms like amamai mucus, it will be all over. That is the sperm. That means that it brought it back. That is why we try the second time and even the third time. So with the second time, you are assured that everything is successful. Sometimes it becomes successful. It has so many factors. Maybe the female has developed fat in it. Until crossing 100 times crana, it will not deliver. When you cross 100 times, it will never deliver because of the fat content. And that one is very hard to treat. So we should be careful of what we even feed the females. We should give them more grass. When you give them more grass, there is no way fat will develop in them. So we should consider that. So we are going to take the female out. 2 times is okay. 2 times is okay. and you saw the female hasn't pushed the sperms back, so it's been successful. So we wait for 30 days to see the results. Thank you very much.
So as you can see, it was a very simple process. Now, for some of you guys who are new out there, there's a lot of learning curve to do. But for those who are already experienced and our farmers are in the whole field, there are also some other things we can talk about. So for example, the last time we were mentioning the fact that for farmers, sometimes you have a rabbit and you try to give it to a male, it never allows it. Sometimes it's the fact that the female is just not willing to do it. There are several ways you can go about it, you know. There is the rubber band technique, and sometimes you just have to cut down on fat for the animal if you think the animal is just maybe too fatty and then it's just lazy to get to do it. Sometimes also you may have a rabbit that is huge, you know, like in the previous video from Sam Head, you would have a rabbit that is huge. Let's say in his case, he had a mixed breed Flemish, which is like a giant. And so you have a rabbit that weighs about 4 to 5 kgs, and that is a doe, and you're trying to give it to a buck that weighs somewhere around 2 or 3 kgs. It's never going to happen, you know. There will be this back and forth. So it all comes down to paying attention and doing what is right at the right time always. Now, in this very instance where he mated, what we saw in the video, in the clip that happened, is that he tried to help, you know. So assisting the rabbit sometimes helps because they know what they are about, but sometimes also the females may be struggling a bit. They may not want the male to get close to them and stuff like that, and you don't have all day, and so sometimes you just have to aid them. In the first instance, you saw him aiding and then it worked immediately. Second instance also, after waiting, it helped also. Now, I know there are lots of questions out there that is like, when they cross for the first time, is it okay, or do you know how many rounds does must the back go for it to be a successful, for it to be considered a successful one? What I will say is this: if you have a back on your farm and you've tested and know that it is very potent, I mean it is very, very potent and has given you babies over the time, one is okay. One successful attempt is okay. That is because you know that very back very well. And he mentioned something in the video also, that sometimes if the rabbit urinates and you see some sort of like a mucus whitish thing flow out, then that's probably the rabbit urinating out the semens of the back. What you need to do again is to make sure you breed the rabbit again. Now, I know there are some farmers who would say, okay, the passageway for the semens is different from that of where the urine is coming from. Anyway, I'm not a scientist and I'm not really educated in that field, but what I can tell you is that it's better to take precautions than not knowing something at all. And so you try it for the first time, give it a second try and give it a third try, and just be sure that it is there. So for me, for instance, on my farm, I always do 3 successful ones. I make sure I stand there. This thing happens within a frame of about 10 minutes. If you have like a potent male, within maximum 15 minutes it is done. You know, you put it in there. Some males will go at it immediately 2 times before you even get a chance to put the female out. In my case, most of the times I leave them in there. But what I noticed is that anytime I bring a different rabbit from another farm to the males I have on my farm, I see that the male takes time, you know. After maybe a first round, they will take time and all that before they go. So what I do to help them in this case is that, like what he did, I pull them out of the cage for a few minutes, 2 minutes, and then I reintroduce them again. You get it? That is what happens. I know there is also another question with regards to, can you give multiple males to one doe? You know, let's say you take doe A to back A, to back B, sorry, and then after crossing you take it to back C. Yes, it is possible. You can do that. People practice that on their farms, but I won't advise it for someone who is trying to raise breeders. You are trying to raise breeders for others to also come and buy from you and go into it. It is not advisable. This is because when you do that, you won't know which male was the father, and by so doing, you are going to cause issues with related to inbreeding. You get it? Inbreeding is also another topic where I will do another video on it and we'll delve into it very well. So if you are just raising them for meat productions and you just want to be sure of your potency, as the female is going to get pregnant and just to continue reproduction, you can mix the males. I mean, it doesn't spoil anything. You get it? You can go here, it gets one here, it gets another one, it gets another one, just so you are sure that it happens in the right way, or the female is pregnant. And then you take the necessary precautions after that for pregnancy and all. So that is, I think, answers all on all the questions surrounding this crossing, how to mate the rabbits. It's not a difficult thing. Now, there's also another question: that are you supposed to take the male to the female or the female to the male? Now, this question, territorial wise, a lot of people, what has become the practice is that a lot of people take the female to the male, but you can do it other ways too. You get it? Sometimes you can introduce the male to the female and it's fine, provided the female is on heat. She needs the male anyway, so there won't be any fight. Where I think there's going to be a little bit of a struggle is that when you introduce the male to the female and the female is not on heat and you are not sure, then the female will try to be territorial and defend its stance. That is very, very sure. Also, let's bring it to the normal world. As men, we have what we call pride. You get it? And so when you go into a female's yard, a female's territory and all that, you'll be a bit timid in functioning and all that kind of stuff. So you're more confident and more open to welcoming when a female comes into your domain. I think that is the rationale behind having people bring the female or the doe to the back all the time. But I think it can be vice versa. Now, there are practical ways to know when a female is on heat. But in general, if you do not know how to determine whether the doe is on heat, rabbits are self-induced animals. And so, for example, you can just take the female to the male, and once it's around it for some time, it will be stimulated and then they can have a good mating session. So that is it on this very one. I hope it's been very educative. I will come your way again with something relating to inbreeding and line breeding. It's also a conversation we had on Clubhouse. The link will be in the description below. If you haven't followed us yet on Clubhouse, join the meetings on every Friday at 7 p.m. GMT, and we have very interesting conversations over there. Also, do not forget to join the Telegram group. The link will also be in the description box below. And I will come your way, like I said, with interesting conversations. There's another video on how to use oxytocin. Oxytocin is a chemical that is injected into the rabbits that overdue, whose pregnancy stay long overdue, you know. And so let's say you're expecting the rabbit to deliver, let's say today, but then it prolongs for like 4 or 5 days and nothing is coming, but you are very sure that the rabbit is pregnant. There is a way out, and I'll bring you that video also pretty shortly. Thank you very much. Do subscribe to the channel. My name is Modin. If you want me for any farm appointments and reservations and all to come to your farm, kindly send me a request. My number will be on the screen. Do so, and then we'll meet. Take care and enjoy a good one.